Hey, welcome back to Matt's Garage DIY. Today we're going to talk about fire starter. In my opinion, probably one of the best fire starters, burlap twine. Not too long ago, I put together a survival shotgun on a budget. As part of that kit, I included about 10 feet of burlap twine as my tinder or emergency fire starting material. I'm going to try to up our game a little bit with that. In addition, with any emergency preparedness type kit or survival type gear, the more multi-purpose that your items are, the more functions that you can accomplish with one item, the better. With jute twine, obviously, its original purpose is for tying or lashing things. That makes this a great kind of dual purpose material. Not going to replace paracord, but with this dollar store brand twine, I can lift 25 pounds without any issues. So let's see how we can up our game and make this a little better. All right, so the first piece, there's just our plain jute twine. Next up, we're going to use some Vaseline or petrolatum. You can also use chapstick for this. Basically just going to take some, kind of work that into the fibers. And then last, I'm going to melt this candle and dip our third piece of twine into that. All right, just warmed up a little tea light. Just going to stick my last piece of twine into that wax. Make sure that's good and soaked. There we go. There's our third piece. So we've got, oops, sticking to my finger here. Plain jute, jute rubbed with Vaseline, and jute soaked in some candle wax. All right, so we've got our three bundles. This is the plain jute, jute with the petrolatum, and the jute with the wax. Let's try lighting the plain one first. There we go. Catches nice and quick. As you can see, any of the cord that's not unwound though instantly goes out. So that doesn't give you a lot of time to work, but again, catches really nicely. Okay, now for the piece with the petrolatum. We'll give that a try. So it burns a little bigger, burns longer, and this little stem that we have keeps on burning. So that definitely gives you a longer window of opportunity to work with to get that fire going. If you have a few clumps, if you wanted to actually add a couple extra strands now, those would sort of self-perpetuate and keep themselves going. So it seemed to work really well. Next up, jute soaked in candle wax. We'll give that a try. There we go, very similar to the last sample. Catches quite nice. This actually seems to even last maybe a little bit longer. And again, appears to be sort of self-perpetuating and keeping this cordage or wick going. So definitely the Vaseline and the wax kind of up your game, make this tinder much more sustainable. Now we're going to see how these hold up and light after we've soaked them in water. All right, there's my pieces. I'm going to take those out. I'm going to give these a shake. Apart from that, not going to do anything to dry them off, and we will see how they light. Okay, plain jute, Vaseline, and the wax. Plain jute, too wet, not seeming like it wants to catch. Now for the jute with the Vaseline. All right. So it took a few strikes to get that going, but once it lit, keeps on going. Exactly what we were wanting to see. All right. Now for the waxed. There you go. Cut quicker than the stuff with the Vaseline. Again, keeps itself going very nicely. All right, there you have it. So definitely adding the Vaseline or the candle wax ups your game, makes that burlap or jute twine an even better tinder source. Pros and cons to each. I found that the wax burned a little bit longer than the Vaseline, but made the cordage very stiff, essentially making it unusable for tying, whereas the Vaseline soaked twine, a little harder to pull apart, but burned almost as long as the candle wax and still very usable as cordage. So what I've decided to do, take the best of both, made up a bunch of little 3-inch sticks of the wax impregnated twine, 10 feet of burlap twine rubbed with Vaseline, combine that to a little bundle. This little bundle is now going to be waterproof and should give me enough tinder to easily start 40 to 50 fires in those emergency situations.